Most of you have probably seen a viral news story last week where a man won first place in a women's weightlifting competition in Nevada. And today we get to talk to one of the competitors who is there and is actually a woman and is not a man. And she's going to share with us her experience and what happened there. So welcome, Misty and Aton. Thank you so much for joining me today. Misty, you flew into Vegas to join this competition. How long have you been doing weightlifting, and why did you decide to join this specific competition?
So I started out in CrossFit 4 years ago. 2 years ago, started weightlifting, and have done a couple meets here and there. And the USAW was the only one that I was aware of that you could join to be able to compete in these. And so we joined for that, just for that simple reason. And I ended up making it to nationals in 2 years.
There was a process to get to Reno. You had to compete in other competitions and pass those in order to get to this competition in Nevada?
Yes, you had to do an online competition. It's an online qualifier. And once you had a qualifying total, then that got you into state. And then that total got you into nationals, and then nationals get you into worlds, and then from there to the Olympics. Right?
Wow. How long is this whole process from when you started with the online till you ended up in Nevada?
2 years. We just didn't know the process the first year. We were kind of learning as we go. I've been training nonstop since October to go to state. That was in January, and then got 1 or 2 days off, and then I'm training again until we go to Reno. That was in March. So I haven't had a day off really since October.
In your experience with the qualifiers that you had to do over the past year or two, were there any men who were in any of those competitions?
Absolutely not.
So there's no men. You worked for 2 years for this. You show up to Nevada for this competition, and tell me what happens next.
This is not a competition. This is nationals that we showed up to in Nevada. This isn't just it was a big deal to get there. And then we get there, my boyfriend and I are just going around, just kind of getting the lay of the land and watching the Thursday lifters. And we look up, and he was on the stage lifting. And I am trying not to get any bad juju. I'm not talking about anybody. I want everybody to do well. My boyfriend was like, "That's a dude." And I'm like, "Babe, don't say that. Don't be that way. Let's not go there. I don't want any." And I'm telling him, I don't want any bad juju. Get home, and this is posted that it was a man on that stage that took first place in the snatch, the clean and jerk, and the total. 37-pound difference from first place to second place, which is 17 kilograms in the lifting world, but 37 pounds difference.
Were other competitors who were there confused about it, or also like murmuring, like, "Oh, is this a man? Like, what's going on here?"
I did hear that, just kind of because I was standing on the side where everybody was sitting in the stadium or little seats. I was on the side of that, and you could hear, is that our guy? But it wasn't, nobody made a big scene about it. Nobody stood up about it. It just happened.
So you get home, and then you see the reporting that it was actually a guy. And what's your reaction as someone who competed in this national competition?
My initial reaction is severely pissed off that the USAW would allow this to happen to begin with. A man is biologically stronger than a woman. Muscle mass, bone density, they're stronger. I don't know how they allowed this to happen. It makes no damn sense.
Did you know the policies of this organization? Did you know that they allowed men to compete?
No.
Would you have gone if you had known?
No, we would have pulled out. What is the point? Women do not want to compete with a man. We are not training our asses off every day, blood, sweat, and tears, to come in and have some man beat us. That we paid money to travel, to train. It's not fair.
So why do you think that none of the women spoke up about this at the time during the event?
I think it's because it's going to have to be a large number of women to stand up together, and it not just be one. Because just one person, you're going to get battered, you're going to get talked about, people are going to be mean to you if you're doing it by yourself. If you're doing it as a large group, there's what's the word I'm looking for?
Security in numbers.
There's security in numbers.
I agree that it takes a lot of courage to speak up, and that's why I admire what you're doing right now. Why did you decide to speak out now and to have this conversation with me?
It's not my place to judge. I'm a Christian woman. It's not my place to judge. However, if there's transgender women, there's transgender men, put them in a group and let them compete against each other. I don't want to compete against a man. And I don't think there's a whole lot of women that do.
This is a topic that comes up a lot. Some states have banned it, some categories have banned it, some organizations, and others like the USAW are saying, we allow transgenders, and this is just inclusivity. So, what's your message to lawmakers who are dealing with this now and possibly proposing legislation, passing legislation on this?
This really needs to stop. Because this is going to, if we do not stop this now, this is going to trickle down to our high school girls. Women have fought for their rights for decades. Those women that fought for our rights are probably turning over in their graves because we're not standing up. Women are not standing up to have this stopped.
I mean, I think it's crazy that this is something that is even controversial because it's so obvious that men and women are different. And to hear it from someone who works in the medical industry is a breath of fresh air. So what would your message be to young girls or to college students or even to women like you who work for years in sports categories to go compete, and then they have men taking their place and winning where a woman should?
I say step out of it, take your place, take yourself out of that situation. I mean, if they're not going to take this serious and give them their own category, then we should all pull out of it. Because there's no reason for us to train to go compete for them and not win, not even have a chance at winning. If I get beat out by a woman, which I will because mine is not very high, but my kilograms aren't. But if I get beat out by a woman by 20 kilograms, she's a badass woman, and congratulations to you. And I want to be just like you. I'm going to try to do that. But to get beat out by a man, I don't want any part of it.
And Aton, yourself, you were a whistleblower. You exposed the Texas hospital for doing gender surgeries on minors. And I know that was a huge story. So we have two great whistleblowers right here. And I really think that this is going to empower more people to come out and speak up.
Yeah. And, just as a frame of reference, she just told me this story yesterday in the morning. And I could see like the anger in her eyes, like she felt like she had lost something so meaningful because all those hours of training and sacrificing, like what did that mean when the competition had this baked into it in the first place? So yeah, I mean, we just reached out to you guys, and then this is the next day. So it goes to show what can happen if you just send someone an email saying that I was here, this is wrong, I'm willing to speak up.
Misty, I greatly admire your courage. I know it's really hard to speak up. And like you said, when it's just one person, it's even harder. But I am very confident that by you coming out and sharing your story, more women will also start sharing their stories. And hopefully we can put an end to this madness once and for all.
I sure hope so.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.